Hi, hello, hola, and welcome back to the Coach Harris Show. This is Harris Benjamin, and this is episode 11. Thank you so much for taking a listen today. Yesterday, I sent out an email to my email list asking if anybody had questions related to strength training, nutrition, motivation, anything and everything, because I wanted to specifically answer their questions on today's podcast. I got a great question from somebody by the name of Sonia related to the scale not budging and fat loss and training and nutrition and everything in that arena. Basically, struggling with the scale not budging. So I'm going to read you the question right now, word for word, and then we're going to get to it. All right. The question is, and I quote, "I eat very clean. I work out a lot. I do an hour of brisk walking 7 days a week, and I lift or do circuit training 5 days a week, but still no results. I even tried blood work and everything is normal. My health, my gland functions, all of it. But the scale won't budge. Very frustrating." End quote. This is a great question and a very common question. There's a lot of pieces to dig apart here, all right? The first thing I'll say, as I always do, if you know me, if you listen to this podcast, you know that I am a huge proponent of context. While this is a great question, while there's some good detail here, there isn't a lot of context that tells me about the exact situation, the specific goals with numbers, with weight history, etc. And there's one key piece that is not in this email that I definitely need in order to really tell if progress is something that should be happening or shouldn't be right now. And that is the amount of calories coming in. So when we are frustrated by the scale not moving, right? Again, this is another conversation in and of itself, which we'll actually get to at some point today as well. The mindset behind the scale not budging, that is very, very important. But as far as specific takeaways right now, if the scale is not budging in a simple way, that means there is an issue with energy balance. The person is in some way taking in more than they are burning out. Okay? Again, in general terms. So this is a really interesting case as well, right? Because it's not like Sonia here is sitting on the couch, never strength training, never walking, never moving. She's very active, right? An hour of brisk walking a day is phenomenal. 5 days a week of strength training, circuit training is incredible, right? That's a really high frequency. That's a really good amount of work. But the scale isn't budging. When we train, right? When we walk, when we lift, we need to do so to improve performance, to improve function, to improve movement, to improve all of those other strength factors. Training itself is not directly going to help you lose weight. And if you're like, what? What are you talking about? I'm not saying that training isn't important for weight loss. It absolutely is. But it is not a direct correlator with fat loss or weight loss, okay? Because you could train all day, every day, you could walk, you could lift, you could do all these things, but if the energy balance is still in the incorrect direction for your goals, you won't go towards your goals as far as body weight goes, okay? So especially because the blood work came back positive and there's nothing wrong there, thank God, right? This tells me that there's a unaccountedness, if that's even a word, for the total calorie intake coming in. So what I would suggest for you, Sonia, and for you if you are struggling with this as well, is to track every single calorie that you take in for 3 days. All right? This is what I have my clients do if they're in the same position. If 3 days seems like too much right now, then start with 1 day. I would argue if you really are frustrated and you care about this changing, I would figure out a way to make 3 days doable. All right? If you want real data that's really, really going to help, go even longer. Go 7 days, go 2 weeks. The idea here is to know exactly how much energy is coming into the body, whether it's from food, whether it's from soda, right? Whatever liquids or foods contain calories that you are putting into your body, I want you to be 100% aware of that number for the course of 3 days, or as much as you can handle right now, or more the better, honestly. because that is going to tell you where the issue really is. All right. And again, there's always context. As I said, there's so many cases here. I need to know more background information if I want to give a more specific answer. So always take that into account. But knowing all I know right now, which is that the scale is not budging, meaning it's not moving at all based on what your words are, and you're very active, it tells me that you're taking in an excess amount of calories on average for your goal. Another important piece, right? If you remember the question, she mentioned that she eats, quote, very clean. Obviously, this can be a wide array of meanings, right? Very clean is not the same for everybody. But it's also crucial to understand that, again, I'm air quoting, clean eating does not mean you're going to lose weight, right? Most people's traditional idea of clean eating just means things that are more nutritious, right? Leaner meats, vegetables, fruits, etc., etc. Those things are very important, right? They'll make us much healthier if we consume them on a regular basis, absolutely. But just solely putting foods into you that are healthy and nutritious does not mean that your weight is going to go down, because you can still be in an excess amount of calories for your goal while eating nutritious foods. Okay? Hypothetically, not that this is likely or really ever happens, but hypothetically, you could have lean meats, you could have vegetables, water, right, solely, only, and still gain weight if you have enough of it to put you into a calorie surplus over weeks, over months, right, over a long period of time. That generally never happens because it's really, really freaking hard to eat excess amount of that food by itself, because it's so satiating and so filling, the fiber in vegetables, the protein in chicken and beef, right? That you're going to get full probably long before you overeat for most people, but it's possible. So again, I want you to understand that while you're eating clean and healthy is amazing, and you should keep doing that if you feel good, you need to know the actual number coming in, all right? And don't lie to yourself. Don't fib the numbers because you're embarrassed or because of this. That's something that I commonly get with my clients. They'll come back with their number, and just based on working with people for so long, I understand that based on what's happening with their body weight, the number they're telling me isn't accurate. Either because they're off a little bit and they need to practice tracking better, or they are basically lying to themselves or to me because they feel embarrassed, which I 100% understand, right? I get that. But if you want to really make the change, have zero holdback and just put the numbers down on paper, okay? See it for your own eyes, see what that is. Once you get that, then you can, if you're listening, you can email me, you can tell me your numbers, we can kind of dive into that a little bit as much as I'm able to help with, but we can go from there, all right? But first thing is bringing awareness to what's coming into your body, all right? Especially if you're already moving with such a high frequency and quality amount. It's going to be the amount of food and intake that matters. Now, to the other side of this, the mental side, which really isn't another side because it's all correlated. It's all working together, right? The way we think about this, what we actually do, it all works in unison. But I would be remiss if I did not talk about how important it is to have a healthy relationship with the scale, with food, with your body, with your mental state, all of that. Again, I could talk about this for 10 seconds. I could talk about it for 10 hours. So I'm not going to just go off on too many tangents here because I need more specifics from you if you want real help with this. But to start taking that first step, which is why I'm talking to you today, right? You have to understand that true weight loss, true fat loss, first of all, if there even is enough weight or fat to be lost, right? Some people are worried about the scale budging. They don't see it budging, but honestly, they don't need to be losing weight right now. And again, that's not my place to say. If you have a goal, you have a goal. That's up to you. But there is a very large amount of people out there who struggle with body dysmorphia. Again, another tangent we could go on. Body dysmorphia, they think they need to always be losing weight just because that is the, quote, cool thing to do, when really they have a healthy body weight, healthy body fat percentage, and they would really benefit from just getting stronger, enjoying their foods, and living their life for now. Okay? So that's important to know. But if you do have maybe an excess of body fat for your health's sake, and you just want to get leaner, regardless of the why. It takes time. It really takes time. And that's a cliche answer. It's an obvious answer. Sometimes it's an annoying answer if you're impatient. But you can't be impatient through this, right? You really can't. You can, but it's not going to help you. And then you're going to come back and ask the same questions and be more frustrated, okay? I'm giving tough love to anybody listening because I care so much about you not being frustrated with your fitness and moving on from that, all right? Life is way more important than how much fat you have in your body, how much you can lift, what your fitness is like. That stuff is crucial to having a quality life, but there's a lot more to life than just fitness. So instead of having trouble, being frustrated, being overwhelmed, being anxious about all this, my job is to help you clear that stuff away so you can get back to your real life, make progress, and enjoy your life, okay? So if you don't want to be frustrated anymore, be more patient. Do the right things. You have to have the right strategies. You have to take the right actions every day and be consistent. But you have to have the patience and the honestly, just the resiliency to handle making progress with your body, because it's not easy. It's simple, usually. And some people, it's easier for some people than for others, but it's not easy to make a big change, okay? Our bodies are not designed to want to get super shredded and jacked and fit and do all these incredible things, right? They want to survive. So by challenging our bodies to get leaner, to do these really large adaptive processes, right? You have to have patience, you have to put in the work, and you have to understand that it's not going to happen linearly. It's not always going to be getting better, right? The scale is going to fluctuate. It might not budge at some points, but if you track your calories, if you know what's going on for a while, and you adjust accordingly to that data, to how you're feeling, to how you're looking, I'm very confident that you will figure it out and you'll make progress, okay? But you have to have realistic expectations of what's likely. Thank you so much. That is today's episode. Once again, I can't stress this enough because while I'm giving things that I think will be very helpful for you to get from point A to point B right now, which is making that first step, that's the whole idea of this podcast, is to get you one step closer. This may not get you 20 steps closer, right? Because your context is going to be different from somebody else's. So if you have more details, if you're struggling just like this and you want more customized help, right? Get on my email list. It's in the description below. I will be much more likely to give you in-depth answers and feedback based on what's going on, just like I did here with this question. And if you want even more help, right? If you want actual face-to-face or 100% personalized help, like ongoing for months to figure this out for life, online coaching is the way to go. All the info is down below if you would like, all right? With that said, that's today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you in episode 12 to come.